We are back, and this is episode 77 of the We Are One, You Are Two PlayStation podcast. I am your host, as always, the man without a mic, Rob Fanzo, joined by my co-host, Matt Rhodes.
Heyo!
Oh, okay, you're there. For a second, I thought you disappeared.
Oh, did I disappear?
I don't know.
I heard
that's
you.
what I was wondering. I heard you, but it took a second.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought maybe you'd fallen asleep over there.
My bad. I thought you were going to give me a bigger intro. I think that's what it was.
I was going to, and then I couldn't think of anything. I'm running out.
So that's still on you. I'm just saying. So my
I
long pause
know.
was still on you. Yeah.
I need a better gig, a better shtick for the intro.
Yeah, for sure. You'll find one eventually.
I'll work on that. Eventually. So just to remind everyone, this is a PlayStation podcast. This is a podcast where we talk PlayStation stuff. Sometimes we talk about other stuff as well. Maybe one day we'll talk Switch, but you never know. If you like what you hear, go rate us on Apple Podcasts. Please don't do that.
Yowza!
So remember, if you like what you hear, please go rate us first and foremost on Apple Podcasts. Then you can go listen to us on Google Play.
Just restart. You're just going to have to cut it.
All right.
You can't keep.
No, you keep mentioning it. All right.
All right. It's going to be a hard hour.
Everybody be cool.
Right,
Everybody be cool. Remember, if you like what you hear, you can rate us first and foremost on Apple Podcast. Go listen to us on Google Play, Stitcher, Patreon, Podbean, YouTube every week. We're here Tuesday by 12 p.m. for you, earlier some weeks if I can help it. We're always on Patreon a day early. But go rate us on your favorite podcast service and let other people know about us. I think I made it through at that time, Matt. So anyway, I'll fix that later. Maybe I'll leave the unedited version up on Patreon for folks. We'll see. Anyway, and then you'll know what you missed if you pay $1. Matt, we're going to talk about a few things that you may have missed in the news this week. We're going to talk about what games we've been playing. We're also going to cover a couple different topics surrounding some PlayStation stuff from this week, including Death Stranding, a little comment from Detroit Become Human's director, and we're also going to talk a little bit about possibly tournament challenges too, and what that might look like as well. All news out of Sony and some devs that's produced for Sony as well this week. Anyway, Matt, should we open up with what we customarily do, or should we just jump right into it and save that for later? I knew you had a list this week, so I feel like we should.
Oh, come on.
So let's talk about what we've been playing this week.
I have another surprise for you this week, that's why.
Wait, what? Hit me with it.
Oh, okay.
Hit me with it.
I'll hit you with it. So what I've been playing, of course, Fortnite and Rocket League. Fortnite is now season 10. Come on now. Season 10. There's hints that they're going to change the map every 2 weeks when they do a major update. There's hints that a POI, a point of interest, if you will, is going to be updated every 2 weeks. So that'll be exciting because they're messing with time, which would be really cool. And of course, Rocket League, blah, blah, blah. But I've played almost 5 other games this week. What, Rob? You say? What? 5 other games? That's correct.
What?
Yeah, see, exactly. So I played a little bit of NHL 20 because I wanted to try the demo of that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I forgot about it too, but I feel like it said something about the servers being down, but I was still able to access one of the modes. I played the, it's called Ones. There's just like 3 players and a goalie.
Okay.
So that was kind of cool. I played a little bit of Madden 20.
Oh.
Which was pretty cool. Yeah, I know, right? Madden 20. I haven't played a football game in years. I was like, man, why not?
I think Madden 14 was the last one I played.
Yeah, exactly. I think the last one I actually bought was the one where the Steelers won the Super Bowl like the previous year. I think that's the last one I actually bought. Which, I mean, that would have been, way back. Anywho, so then I played, What was the other games? What are the other games? Burnout Paradise Remastered.
Okay.
And I played a little game called Peggle 2, which I love. And a little game called Star Wars Battlefront 2. So let's see.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 5 or... Wait, how many did I play? I feel like there's one more.
I lost count for once.
Oh, no. Did I lose... Oh, and then the one I kind of didn't play, but kind of did. Well, I wanted to play, but realized that I'm pretty sure it's only 2 persons. Like, it's only co-op, is A Way Out.
Oh, well, you know what? I was going to tell you that you and I should play that this week because
We should play that this
have
week.
been itching to play that.
Because you have it, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I downloaded it and I started it up, and then I was like, play local or online co-op. I was like, oh crap, I forgot this is like only 2-player. So I was like, I backed out of it and I didn't play it. So I almost played 7 games this week. What?
Wow. Now, how did you play Madden 20?
Exactly, Robert. For those of you who listened last week, we talked about me possibly getting that EA access. Well, I did.
Oh.
And that's the common theme to all of those games. All of those games, except for Fortnite and Rocket League, are available on EA Access for free.
Interesting.
So I signed up for the... I did 1 month just to try it out. It was $5 or $4.99. And then I turned off... If you sign up for the $4.99, it'll automatically renew after a month, but you can just go into the PlayStation settings and turn off auto-renew if you just want to try it for like 1 month. So that was cool, yeah, and I did that, and yeah, I had to. It's funny, I had to delete a couple things. I'm getting to be like you, Robert. I'm playing so many different games that I have to delete stuff off my hard drive to download new ones.
That's more like it.
I finally know how it feels. But yeah, no, EA Access has been pretty good to me so far. I mean, I've been playing a couple different games, and earned a bunch of trophies playing Burnout Paradise. It's different than I remember. So I'm thinking maybe I played a different Burnout.
Okay.
Because I feel like I remember a crash mode in Burnout, but that's not in this one. Like where you like specifically like wreck into people and then cause as much damage as possible.
Right.
And you get points based on like the dollar amount of damage you create. But
okay.
this is like a bunch of driving around, which is cool though because like most intersections can be a different race.
Right.
So that's kind of cool where you get like, and there is kind of still of a destruction element to it. There's like billboards in the world where you can like, jump through them and destroy all of them. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. It's been a kind of cool to go back to that a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah. What have you been playing, Robert?
Well, and I'd love to hear maybe once you've had it for a couple of weeks. So I'd love to hear more of how you feel about EA Access because you and I kind of talked about a couple weeks ago whether or not it was a good value. So I'd be curious once you really delve into it more.
Yeah, I'm going to give it the full month exactly, so I can figure out exactly how I feel about it. Obviously, the first week, it's something new, it's something exciting. You're going to like jump into it, and I downloaded a bunch of games prior. And, with the Madden thing, it's really cool because, it hasn't come out. Well, I mean, it came out yesterday, I guess, technically. But I had played it beforehand, obviously. And that's one of the things that's, part of the EA Access is you get to play games early or play trials of those games early. And it gives you a countdown. So you have, like, it said, like, once I downloaded it, every time I log into it, it says... You have, like, when I first logged into it, it says you have 10 hours left on your playthrough, basically. And so I guess after I've played it for 10 hours, it'll delete itself or lock itself and make me purchase it.
I was going to ask you if it was a 10 continuous hours or if it was a 10 play hours. So it sounds like 10 play hours.
I'm pretty sure it's 10 play hours, yeah, because it would be weird if it was only 10 hours. Like you only had 10 hours to play it. And for the fact that it tells
that
me
makes
the
sense.
hours every time I log in, I would imagine that it's just 10 play hours. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I played it
Okay.
like as realistic as possible the first game, and then I was like, nope, I got like whooped. I was like, I'm gonna make it easier on myself, and then I won like 80 to like 10 or something like that. So it was a little bit weird that there was like no in between, and maybe that's on me though for not playing games like that in so long.
For 20 years?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. For so many years, but it seemed a little bit weird. Kind of like you remember like the NHL games, like you would either really crush the computer or they would be really crushing you.
Well, that's unbalanced AI there, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if it was me or if it was unbalanced AI. So I don't know. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a couple more hours of playing, and I'll figure out whether that's the case or not.
Okay. Good stuff.
But either way, I'll give a full report on EA Access after I've played for a whole month.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
How about you, Rob?
So yeah, we asked a little bit about what I've been playing. I was a little light on the games this week. I gotta admit, I'm ashamed to admit that you actually have
How
put
dare
me
you.
to shame this week. But I honestly did something I haven't done in a while, which kind of impressed me. The first thing I did was I finally tried Onanaki, the demo. I may have not talked about that last week. I was going to try, and I did. I tried that at the very beginning of the week. I like it. I like that it's a demo that your progress actually carries over into the game. And so I got to like level 3 or 4 before the demo finished, and I think I finished the demo if I remember correctly. I might not have, but I know I fought at least one major boss, and so I think I think the demo did end there, or it might have kept going. I think it might have kept going a little bit further, but anyway, either way, I played it for a couple hours. I like it. It's not going to set the world on fire, but I think it's if you like a nice RPG. The character models look a little funky, so I can't get past that, but other than that, I didn't mind it. I did play a little bit of Mark of the Ninja Remastered, which is a stealth remaster of Mark of the Ninja, and that's pretty good too. But the majority of my time was spent with Vampire. I'm actually at the point where I made a separate save file, because at the beginning of Chapter 6 is the last time you can free roam. And so there's 2 missions in Chapter 6, and then there's an epilogue, and it kind of just rushes you to the end. And so I'm going to finish the ending, and then I'm going to go back and pretty much kill everyone so that I can get the trophy for causing all the districts to go into chaos.
Yeah, of course.
Plus, because I've been playing what they call a no embrace playthrough, which means I haven't killed a single human being in terms of NPCs that you can drain their blood. And so a lot of them, the weapons and everything's locked behind them. There's all kinds of stuff that's locked behind them trophy-wise. The game almost encourages you to have that moral conflict about killing them all. But then there's a trophy for not killing anyone. And so I've gone through and done that. And so we'll see. I'll be finished with that by next week, is my hope. And that's really it. I played a little bit of that demo, a little bit of Ninja one night, and then Vampire the rest of the week. And that's about it. I started back to work, so I've been a busy man. But
yeah, I feel like that's going to be me next week. I start a new job next week, so I'll be doing the 9 to 5 grind.
Yeah, and then you'll be like me, where last night I went to bed at 8:30. I slept till 10 this morning.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's a brew.
But I've been up. Yeah. Well, with my girlfriend here, I've been up like super late the past couple nights because she's getting in like later, so I'm like been like staying up and like kind of like winding down with her. So
yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah,
It'll
be interesting tomorrow when I have to get up for work at like 4 a.m.
And yeah, and then your eyes are bleeding.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So let's move on to our In Case You Missed It this week, because we're just going to highlight, like I said, a couple of news stories. Not a whole lot. Some stuff that I thought was very interesting this week. The first one be that No Man's Sky, which I started, and because I bought it was on sale for like $20, started and played a couple hours of it, didn't really get into it. It finally added PSVR support, or will, I should say, on August 14th. Not only that, but you're also going to get 3 huge updates. You're also going to get 2 other updates along with that as well. A newly expanded online experience is one of the other things that you'll get too. And then one more other thing that I don't know that I've read anything specific about. I think they're maybe playing that one a little closer to the chest, but we'll see what that is. But yeah, that's kind of exciting if you're a No Man's Sky fan. They've been begging for VR support for, I don't know, a year now, so they finally implemented it. Speaking of huge updates, Red Dead Online is going to give you 3 unique character classes, basically, as well. I don't know if you saw that. And so you can be either a bounty hunter, you can be a treasurer or a treasure collector, or you can be like a trader and a shopkeeper. And then you can expand into those as well. So that was kind of cool. The other thing I'll touch on real quick is Persona 5. Apparently, and I'm not going to read this list out, but if you look at any article anywhere, they had a live stream about Persona 5R, and the list is like 30 new things that they discovered from that live stream. And so, like, for example, I'll just read 1 or 2 of them here. You can use the PS4 share button, which they didn't let you to do in the original Persona 5. You can also, they have a darts mini game. They have a new third persona for all the Phantom Thieves. They have new personas they're adding. It's really depressing because I spent 90 hours in Persona 5 and didn't finish it. And in order to access this new content, you basically have to play through the story all over again because it's tacked on to the end. And since it's being sold as a separate game and not a DLC expansion pack, you literally have to play through the entire 100 hours to get to this content. And so I will not be doing that because that is just way too much for me.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. The other thing I thought I'd mention before we get to some of our topics, PS4 software sales are apparently tilting towards digital. This comes on the heels of the fact that PS4 finally sold 100 million units, too, faster than any other console.
See, that's
so
weird.
That's kind of cool.
The article I read said that it officially shipped 100 million, but hadn't sold.
Yeah, and so I don't know. It depends on who you read.
Well, this article says sold, so I don't know.
I don't know either. Either way, it's an impressive number.
That is pretty impressive, no matter what. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And so either way,
if they ship that many, I mean, soon enough they'll be selling that much.
Exactly. Yeah, because I doubt that they send out 6 million and go, well, we'll get through them eventually. You know?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I know we'll sell those. Just send out 6 million, guys. It's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
So they've got to be close. But either way, they've hit that really fast. I think faster than Wii U, I believe, if I remember correctly. And Wii, they're not going to beat the PS2 numbers of 180 million. I don't think anyone will ever top that, but good for them. But also, like I mentioned, software sales apparently during the third quarter, or during this quarter, which ended on June 30th, they announced that they had sold over 43 million pieces, or 42 million pieces of software for the PS4, and that 53% of them were digital.
Wow!
And that does not include
That's awesome.
PS Plus games. And so that's
pretty awesome.
That is, considering it was only 43% last year. So it's a jump in 10%. So we are slowly moving towards a digital. I know there's a lot of physical collectors out there, and I know I'm friends with a lot of them on Twitter, and I know there's several of them that listen to this show. We are quickly, though, it seems like moving towards a digital landscape. And so physical. I like physical collections of certain games too. I don't think I need every game to be physical, but there are certain games I will absolutely buy physical. We are a dying breed, it sounds like. So
no, I mean, I agree with you to a certain extent. I do like having a physical copy every once in a while for certain things, but yeah, it's interesting to see that. I like that push because if they're looking at the numbers, that means they're going to put a better hard drive or a bigger drive into PS5.
Most games too, though, the drive size is the same as the physical one, right? The digital is the same as the physical, and that certainly seems to have not stopped them from putting too tiny of a hard drive in. I would hope they would just look at the file sizes and go, well, now we're adding ray tracing to the mix, so we should probably,
Yeah, true.
spruce that up. And I think they will. I'm sure they will. What I like about it, and so this is where I'm torn, because I like some of the physical games that I've collected and some of the collector's editions that I've collected. I love having them and looking at them. But at the same time, I love not switching the disc. And I love, because I don't have a whole room I can dedicate in my house to PlayStation stuff. Or, I don't have like a big enough room, I guess. I like the fact I'm saving space physically in my house as well. Either way, that's just an impressive number, though. All right. So moving on, I thought one thing we could talk about as well, just really quickly, just a couple news stories I want to mention. One was Suda51 is talk with Marvelous over No More Heroes 1 and 2 as being PS4 remasters, so I'm kind of excited about that because I never got to play No More Heroes 1 and 2. And the bigger story, I think, and one of the last ones I'll wrap up with before we get into some of these conversational topics, is that The Last of Us 2, according to one Troy Baker, said, quote, "I can tell you this, it is hands down the most ambitious game Naughty Dog has ever done for sure. It's far larger than I thought it was going to be possible." And so he spoke about that. And he also joked about the February 31st release date, saying, "It'll be out the 31st of February. That's what Johnson said. People took it out of context," he joked. "I'm sure she got a call from Sony saying, 'Shut up.' She's like, 'Guys, it's an effing joke.'"
Yeah, I read an article about how it's been like pretty much like mired in controversy about like, the first footage we see of it, it was like ultra violent. I mean, like there's that woman's fighting for survival. They're trying to like hang her, and implications that she's pregnant and they're gonna like gut her. And then the second footage we see is like, Ellie's relationship with that girl and like the LGBTQ kind of aspects of the game. So it's kind of interesting to me to see exactly how they'll deal with that. Like, I mean, I rewatched that trailer and the first one is super violent, and it was like kind of crazy. I forgot like how crazy that was to see. But I mean, you kind of look at games now like with like Mortal Kombat 11, and I mean, that going into it with the fatalities, but the fatalities are just so over the top as far as gratuitous violence. I mean, I don't know if maybe just because Last of Us makes it more real. I don't know. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how they handle that. Because, he talks about it being, the most ambitious game they've ever done. And for me, that says they're going to delve more into, like, the psychology of a post-apocalyptic world. And, like, what people have to really do to survive. And, like, how, dark that can get.
Yeah, it actually reminds me a little bit of, and maybe I'm a little off base with this, but it reminds me a little bit of, what was that one with the guy and his son, and the world had ended? It's a Cormac McCarthy novel, and they decided to make it into a film. The Road. Have you ever seen The Road?
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
That's kind of what that reminds me of. That dark...
No.
No to you haven't seen it, or no to you don't know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen it, sorry. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminds me of, and so I'm kind of excited to... That's okay, I was confused.
My bad.
I'm kind of excited to see where they go with it and what they ended up doing with it, because if it is that ambitious, it's no surprise. I mean, Naughty Dog is constantly pushing the boundaries of what is or isn't, mind-blowing, and so... I'll be excited to see. They've done it with Uncharted. They really pushed stuff forward, and so we'll see how they push it with Last of Us Part 2. One other thing I wanted to talk about was...
Yeah, pretty awesome.
Destiny 2 Shadowkeep has been delayed. Shadowkeep and New Light has been delayed into October, so if you're waiting on that to drop, that has been pushed back. I know there are people who still are playing that pretty religiously, and so they just delayed that expansion by about a month, I guess. Not even a month, it's like 3 weeks, I think, from September 17th to October 1st. But they want to take a little bit of extra time, and so that's nothing new there. No big deal. And that really wraps it up in case you missed it. The only other thing I guess I will mention, then we can talk about a few topics here, is that Hitman, of course, is working on a third entry as well and a new IP. So we'll see how that goes. That should be exciting. And then the other thing, of course, to mention very briefly here is that classic Doom got ported to PS4 as well. And so that's pretty exciting too. All right, so anyway, the last story here, of course, is that classic Doom PS4 got a port. I don't know if you saw that, but all three Dooms, Doom 1, 2, and 3, showed up, actually, on the PS Store this week. And so that was kind of cool. Some people were complaining about it, though, because apparently you had to have a login, where you had to have login information, log into the servers. You had to be constantly connected online to play the three classic Doom games. So I don't know what the problem was there, but apparently they promised to patch that out, so we'll see. But they were like $3.99, $4.99, and I think $9.99 a piece. So that might be worth getting if you're into the original Doom, or if you're like me and you played it on a keyboard back in the day. All right, so let's go ahead and move on then, and we'll take care of our topics here. Just some things that were also in the news that I thought were worth talking a little bit more in depth. The first one I thought we'd touch on is, I don't know if you saw this week, and I actually got an email about it. That's the reason I'm aware of it, but I know several media outlets reported it as well. The PS4 is going to start offering, PlayStation is going to start offering Challenger Series tournaments that let you play competitive games and win prizes from home, and they're going to be weekly tournaments.
Wow, I did not see that.
And the first one is Mortal Kombat 11, and then they're going to have one for Warface, and then one for Battlefield 5.
Oh, no, wait, I did see that. I did see the Mortal Kombat 11 email, but I just figured it was a Mortal Kombat thing. I didn't read too much into it.
Yeah, no, it's for all stages and skill levels. You pass a stage 1 by winning 3 of 4 online matches. And if you think about the way Mortal Kombat works, the less you've played, you play against less experienced people. I think most things will try to line you up with somebody of equal skill level.
Okay.
And then the stakes will increase in Stage 2, where you'll compete at a higher level, and then Stage 3 will decide who takes home the title. And so there you can win simple stuff. You can win like dynamic themes, you can win in-game currency, you can win cash prizes. It just depends on where you wind up in the rankings.
Ooh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and so even if you don't do expert level, right, to get the cash prize, maybe if you just get lucky enough to win a few games and maybe get past like round 1, you may even just get like a free theme out of it for just playing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
I think Fortnite is starting to do like something like or along those lines, like a daily cash cup.
Okay.
So that, I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool that just platforms in general and games in general are kind of looking towards, getting people more involved in like these like little tournaments. Because like for me, like I don't consider myself a professional gamer. I don't think I would do well in that kind of a setting. But it would be kind of nice to test my luck in that sense. You know what I mean? Like if it's just something like for like a theme or for like a in-game currency, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and actually I think a perfect one for you and me to do this with, that's if Sony wants to host, it would be Rocket League, because you and I aren't terrible, but we're not champ level, but it would be nice to be able to, just see where we'd wind up, because you and I definitely could play, I think, well enough to at least get maybe some free theme or something out of it.
Yeah, exactly, like some free keys or whatever to open some of these hundreds of crates that I have.
Exactly. And so
that'd be awesome.
I'd like to actually ask you, what games would you, because like Fortnite's definitely doing their own thing, right? Yeah. And it's nice that Mortal Kombat's doing this. And I think Battlefield 5, that's an interesting choice as well. And I also do like the fact that they're doing something like Warface, which I've never played. I don't know much about either. But what games would you like to see them maybe come off the top of your head? Rocket League is obviously, I think, the most obvious answer. Are there any other games you'd like to see them kind of pool into this weekly? Because they said this is going to be like a weekly thing for tournaments. And so, I'm not sure how long, if they mean a game per week or what, but it would be great to see, a different game every week or 2 weeks. Are there any games that pop into your head there about
Well, I mean, I guess the obvious choices would be like the sports games, like the NHL or Madden or even FIFA.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I feel like those are the games that kind of run through my head right off the top of my head.
Yeah. Apex
but
Legends.
Thinking more about it, Apex, yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, like the fighting games and stuff like that. One thing that I think would be cool. I mean, I haven't played this in a while, but what about WWE?
Oh yeah, that would be good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
that'd be great.
Like wrestling matches or whatever, little online wrestling matches. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be. You know what I'd even love? I'd even love to see them do like a Royal Rumble elimination.
Oh man, how nuts would that be, dude?
Yeah.
I would definitely do that if they did like a legit like Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. And then kind of like it could be like, say it was like a mini tournament leading up to that. So like you kind of like the better you do, the later you come out in the Rumble.
That'd be great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So then if you're not so good or whatever, you start the Rumble, but that doesn't mean you can't still win it.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be so awesome.
I think that I think this is ripe because they're starting this now in August, and FIFA. You know, you mentioned Madden just coming out would be perfect. FIFA, of course, I think is going to be another one that's perfect for this. A FIFA tournament as well. I could very easily see that being an option for them to do.
Yeah.
And I'd like this. I like this idea because, you know, they don't take advantage of... They have this entire ecosystem of players that are like me. I'm never going to travel anywhere to enter a tournament. But you put it in front of me on my cross-media bar and give me a chance. I may very well go ahead and do that. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so all you do is visit the events screen on your PS4 and sign up from there. So, you know, I just got to fire up now, I don't know that I've ever been to the events bar on my PlayStation 4, but...
There's an events bar?
Apparently. Yeah. Events screen, I should say, not bar, but events screen.
Yeah, the only reason I've seen that screen is because I'll get like a weird invite from PlayStation every once in a while about Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there'll be like a random thing like, oh, don't forget to play Fortnite from this time to this time.
And so where is that? Is that in the PlayStation Store itself? For those that don't know?
I feel like I don't know. I thought it popped up like on my calendar. You know, like, you know, in the HUD, there's like a calendar, I think.
Okay.
Not the HUD, the interface.
Oh, okay.
I thought there was a calendar. I don't know.
And you may be right. I mean, I laugh about it, but and I say, oh yeah, that's all you got to do. But to be honest, I don't know that I've ever visited that actual events thing. So I'd have to look it up myself, to be quite honest with you.
Maybe what they did is it used to be calendar and they changed it to events.
Okay.
With the new update.
Yeah, and that's very possible.
Like it used to be a calendar tab, and now it's like events.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Actually,
I think it's between like, if you click up, I think it's between like, friends and like, somewhere between friends and parties, like party chat.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here it is.
I think.
Yeah. I decided, since I'm sitting right in front of it, I should probably look. I found it.
Yeah.
There are no team events right now, but for tournaments right now, they've got Mortal Kombat 11, and then they've got Madden, it looks like, lined up, and then it looks like they will have FIFA at some point as well.
Yeah. See?
And then Injustice 2 has their own tournaments going on.
That makes sense.
Yeah. NBA, I see, has a tournament going on, so...
was I right where it was?
Yes. Yes, sir, you were.
Muscle memory.
And so they do have time slots, it looks like, when this stuff goes on, that you have to be sitting down for.
Yeah.
And so
I would definitely do Rocket League if they had one. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, in Rocket League itself, you can compete in tournaments.
Yes. And so here's already, just to give you an idea, the first 10,000 players who win 3 out of 4 matches will get an MK11 PS4 theme.
Ooh.
And so you'll go to stage 2. And so actually, and then you can sign up for stage. Then you'll have to sign up for stage 2 separately. But it looks like you at least get a
Sorry, the first how many people?
10,000
All right, I better get on that then.
to win a match, win 3 out of 4. So there could be 30,000 signed up, but if you aren't, you got to be the first 10,000 to win.
Well, I mean, I like a free theme.
Yeah, and so it looks like a pretty healthy opportunity here, where it looks like it'll be over several days too, and so it looks like they have several, and that's what I'm wondering. I wonder if it's actually okay. So then this looks like the next section of the tournament, and the first prize is 5,600 time crystals, which is a $40 value. Second prize is 2,500 time crystals, which is a $20 value. I'm sorry, that's second through 8th place. 9th through 16th place will get 1,100 time crystals, which is a $10 value, and then 17th through 32nd will get 500 time crystals, which is a $5 value.
Yeah, I kind of like that setup. I mean, I like that you get to, get that in-game currency like that. I mean, I think that's kind of fun. That's kind of fair. I would love trying my hand at it just to try to get a theme. You know what I mean? I haven't really played much matches online, but I mean, I might as well. If it's going to be a free theme, why not?
And it's free to enter. It's not like it's costing you anything either.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I don't see why not. So, well, it sounds like that's going to be a good thing, and even for people who like us that aren't necessarily big into that stuff, I'd say give it a shot if you had a chance. Especially if you're looking forward to something like Warface or Battlefield. And it looks like that Mortal Kombat thing they'll have maybe a tournament that resets itself every week. Because when I was looking ahead there, it goes on for at least 2 weeks, and then I noticed that the prizes start over at the end of the next, or at the beginning of the next week. And so it looks like it's a couple times a week that you can enter for the first stage, and then they play the second stage. And so it's only maybe 2 stages for this Mortal Kombat one to start, and then next week it resets, and you can do stage 1 again. I don't know if you can enter more than once, but I'm sure you can't. But especially if you won a prize, but you know what I mean. You can.
Well, yeah, I would imagine like if you don't win, they would just give 10,000 more people to get a chance to get that theme.
Exactly.
Right?
So I thought that was that definitely looks cool and worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely.
So the other piece I thought might be worth talking about today a little bit is kind of in an opposite direction here. It's totally opposite away from the tournament thing, and it deals with Death Stranding and the fact that this week, this is an article. I'll just read you some of it. Death Stranding is more than just a game. Troy Baker believes that if director Hideo Kojima achieves what he set out to do, it'll be a statement. And so this is at Manchester Comic-Con. He basically said that it'll definitely be a statement. If you know anything about Kojima, he doesn't make games. He's an amazing world builder. He's trying to move the medium forward, not just trying to move copies. And he said that this game will be a game that names sell, but it won't be Norman Reedus or Mads Mikkelsen, and it sure as won't be Troy Baker. He said the name that's going to sell this game is going to be Kojima. What I want to know is this all hyperbole, or do you really think he's going to push the industry forward? And what does that even mean, push the industry forward? Or push the medium forward?
I mean, from what we've seen so far, and not knowing what the F is going on, it wouldn't surprise me if he pushed the medium forward. You know what I mean? Just has like a completely different kind of game. They revealed that little trailer where like a character there's a character that dies every 21 minutes.
Oh, I missed that trailer.
Oh, you missed that
trailer?
Is that
the one with
what?
the gentleman?
Yeah.
I keep watching, I keep forgetting to.
Oh, yeah, that's a great trailer. It's just him talking for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but you find out that he dies every 21 minutes and he's brought back to life. It's really good. A really good clip of the game, I think. It kind of gives you more insight as to like what's what it is, or at least what that guy's about. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it's about. I'm excited to play it though. And he's right. I think that the name that's going to bring the most people to it is Kojima.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely not going to sell anything on on anything else, especially because I think we don't know so much about it. We have no idea what's actually going on with it. I have no doubt that it's going to be something that has to sell based on his name alone. I just wonder, what does push the industry forward mean? Because, you know, when I think of pushing the industry forward, I think of something like VR, because VR gives us a new way to interact with games. And when I think of pushing the industry forward, I think of Xbox 360, especially, and a little bit with PlayStation 3, of course, creating an online ecosystem so we could play online together or interact together. And so those are things I think push the industry forward. I don't know necessarily if there's a game. Is there a game that pushed the industry forward? I mean, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, could you argue BioShock pushed the industry forward maybe?
I mean, that's honestly the first one that came to my mind.
Games as art, maybe, or like that argument, are games art, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's also kind of like...
But gameplay-wise, it didn't. There was nothing special about it.
Sure. But, I mean, I feel like it also kind of set the bar for, like, new games coming in and, like... I don't know. I don't know. I think when you asked me that question, that's the first thing that popped in my head was BioShock. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's what he says in his game or the statement he makes with the game that kind of pushes the medium forward. And maybe it's because, I mean, if you think about it, like, how many games really comment on the world right now? And maybe that's what he does. And maybe, you know, that's what kind of opens up the door for games to kind of comment on what's going on in the world.
Well, I mean, I think there are plenty of games that still do that. You know, I look at...
AAA games?
Would you consider Detroit Become Human a AAA game?
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Do you think?
Yeah, Detroit.
Do you think that commented on, you know, the idea of the other and you know, tensions between you know, one group of people and what they consider the other or lesser humans, right? There was certainly a political statement made there.
That's true. Yeah, all right. I'll give you that one.
So, and then I had another one in mind.
But I wouldn't say that's... Oh, say again?
I had another one in mind that I'm blanking on at the moment.
I was about to say, I would say that's more few and far between, though. But, I don't know. I could be wrong. But either way, I mean, I guess we'll have to wait and see till November, right?
What are you laughing at?
I mean, we'll have to wait and see what, like, how, like, once the game comes out to see what we think is going to be so medium changing.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure it has something to do with the social connections. And so, if you think of the ending of Metal Gear Solid 5 Online, the idea was that there was a secret ending that if every player in the world could agree to disarm all the nukes, you would get a cutscene, right? Remember, and people data mined that and found that because, let's be honest, no one's ever going to do that in an online world.
Yeah, of course.
I almost wonder if... Now, this would be very Kojima-like, and I would laugh so hard if this was the case. If everyone didn't help each other build America... Because this seems to be implying a lot about building America, right? Or rebuilding America.
Rebuilding the world, yeah.
How funny it would be is if you didn't help other people, if something happened where the entire world just fell apart, the in-game world, to the point where the game was unplayable. Like, what if you made a self-destructive game that if we didn't help maintain the game literally... I mean, I feel like people would be outraged.
Yeah, of course.
But I could also see him doing that. And I also could see the way that people fight so hard to keep games with online servers that are shutting down online by playing them. I could see this being the type of thing that motivates people to log on and continuously play this game.
Oh, yeah, I
Now, I
understand
mean,
that. That makes
that's
sense.
just pure speculation, right? But if he wants to put America back together because it's falling apart, what better way than maybe, or what if we can't complete the game until everybody agrees to do something? I feel like that's how he's going to try and push the medium forward by making us, because gaming is such a solo activity, unless you're playing a multiplayer game, but even in multiplayer games, 90% of the time you're fighting against each other. I almost wonder if he's pushing for a completely cooperative experience where the game cannot be finished or something happens. There's something there that's... I feel like Metal Gear Solid 5 was the playground for him to test that, to see what would happen. And so he thought, well, what happened if I force people to do that instead of just making it an optional ending? And I might be batting out in left field and be completely wrong.
I mean, that would be interesting, not having an ending to the game.
Unless everybody agreed to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's getting a lot of praise, and it's a lot of hyperbole. In some ways, it seems like it's the greatest game ever. He's a genius. Da, 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 da. But I do wonder if there is something to it in the fact that if there's anyone who could take a risk in a game like that, and people still go, well, what do we expect? It's Kojima. It's Kojima, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the few people who could take a risk and do that. I mean, he was taking risks. I don't remember if you played. Did you play Metal Gear Solid 2 back on the PlayStation?
Yeah, I think so.
Remember when it would read what saves were on your memory card when you fought Psycho Mantis?
Oh, yeah.
And so he's always pushed that boundary of the fourth wall, right? To see where...
Yeah. And also, that wasn't one of the games you had to use the player 2 controller so he couldn't read your movements?
I think so.
Was that the same one?
It might have been.
He knew where you were moving because the controller... it read the controller input, but if you used the second controller, you could beat him?
I think you're right. And so...
I know that was definitely a Metal Gear game. I just don't know.
I think it was the second one. I think it was that game. Yeah, it's one of those things where I really think that he's going to attempt something goofy like that, where we know that it's going to be something that's risky and challenging and bizarre. I mean, slight spoilers here. I'll give you a second to pause if you haven't played Nier Automata. But there's a part of an ending in Nier Automata where it deletes your save data. Right? But you make that choice. You willingly make that choice. And so that's playing with our expectations of a game. And so it'll be something like that, I'm sure. And, he'll get praised for it and then get cursed for it at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no matter what it is, I'm sure there will be some people that don't like it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, especially if there's no ending to the game.
Well, yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of excited to see what happens there and what goes on. All right. So that's unless you have anything else to say about that, that's all I've got for that. So this last little bit also touch on next gen and breaking ground, and I just wanted to mention it and talk about it for a moment. I don't know if there's much to be said. I feel like David Cage is always out there a little bit with his conversational pieces and his... We know he loves to push graphic fidelity, right? His games always seem to. And so he mentioned and explained to GameSpot that he thought realistic lighting was going to be the key going forwards. He said that, quote, there's this new technology called ray tracing that we talk a lot about these days. I think this is going to be interesting because it will allow to improve reflections, lighting, shadows, and I think that's a big deal. He went on to say even further, for years, the amount of polygons you could display was key. Then it became shaders and textures. And now I think it's all about lighting. And the more subtle and nuanced the lighting will be, the better the image will be. And then he went on to, of course, say, I don't think it's going to be a war about resolution. I know people talk about 8K these days and blah, blah, blah. I don't think this is the real next battle. I would rather put focus on lighting. Lighting. So I get that he loves...
Pretty interesting statement.
Yeah, I get that he loves images and he loves impressive visuals. But do you really think that's going to be a huge part of next gen?
Yeah, I think so.
You think it'll help sell consoles?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like with the new 4K, like 4K TVs are all about like, HDR, like high dynamic range, and like what better highlights that than the light and the dark, right? So, I mean, I could see him being right about it. I mean, makes sense to me as to like why it's so important for sure.
Okay.
But I don't know. What do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I think about it this way. I could put extreme, amazing lighting on a turd, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a turd. And so...
Yeah, but if that turd looks so much more real because of that lighting, you'd be impressed.
I'd be impressed. But it wouldn't play any better.
Sure.
I think that's really what I'm actually thinking about more than anything is, and that's one thing I'm wondering about is, yes, that's true. I'll love the better looking games. I'll appreciate them. But some of my favorite games this gen haven't necessarily blown me away visually. You know? Some of the games I love coming back to over and over again haven't blown me away visually. They've just been great quality games. And so I would really love to see us say goodbye to janky gameplay next gen. Forget ray tracing. I just want janky gameplay out of the way. You know?
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen ever.
Janky gameplay? You think there will always be someone that makes a game that's janky?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Because what a developer thinks is good or right isn't necessarily true.
Yeah, that is true.
But, absolute, in my opinion, is lighting, though. I mean, it's either right or it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I'll be curious. I mean, I'm just excited as a whole, I think, for next gen, but I don't think ray tracing is probably going to be the end-all, be-all of next gen. It seems to be the buzzword that keeps flying out everywhere about next gen, and I get it. They're trying to really sell the graphics thing, but give me really good games, and that's all I care about. That's all I really need. So,
yeah,
if you can give me that, then we can talk.
I want more immersive games.
Yeah, well, there's this thing called VR.
No, not like that. I want more games like God of War, where you can turn off the HUD.
Oh yeah, you know what? I would agree with you on that. Like Red Dead did that, right?
Yeah.
But I think I would agree with that. I would love a lot of, and here's the thing: Witcher 3 did that, and it was fantastic, right?
Yeah.
I think that there are certain games it works really well for. And I think that it's really nice to have those up there. And so I would like to continue to see those. Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think... There are some games that I don't think it works well with, but... Yeah, that would be fun. It would be real nice to have unobtrusive HUDs. Or completely... The opportunity to turn them off. And I never felt like in Game of Thrones, goodness. In God of War or The Witcher 3, I never felt like that was a problem. I never felt like I was playing a game where I was getting cheated out of something by turning off the HUD. In fact, I actually played so much of God of War without the HUD that when I turned it on to see the health bars, it felt really janky and ugly to me. It's true. I played the entirety of my first playthrough of God of War with zero HUD. I had it off the entire time, even the little compass at the top. And so I felt very, very uncomfortable when I turned that all on post-game to do some of the cleanup for that game. I was like, this all looks horrible. Like, I hate these health bars above the enemies. I hate Kratos' health bar. I hate the way that the I just hated it all because I was so used to playing without it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. Let's move on to the last part of our show here today, our little podcast.
Oh yeah.
Let's
You mean see you
see you
soon?
soon. All right, we switched some roles there. So, as customary, I will let you choose. Do you want to go first? Or you'd like me to go first?
I'll let you go first this time. Let's switch it up a little bit.
Age of Wonders Planetfall. PS4 Digital Retail. Age of Wonders Planetfall is the new strategy game from Triumph Studios. Build your empire with one of 6 unique factions, ranging from the militant vanguard to the dinosaur-riding Amazons and the cyborg zombies of the Assembly. Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. All right, up next we have The Angry Birds Movie 2 VR Under Pressure. PSVR Digital. Now the birds and piggies are best frenemies. Red and Leonard team up to assemble a cracked team and investigate mysterious Eagle Island. But first, they must get there in one piece. In a giant piggy submarine. Can the birds and pigs cooperate deep beneath the waves? Or will they get that sinking feeling as the pressure rises?
Alright. Corpse Killer 25th Anniversary Edition comes to PS4 Digital. You're stranded on an uncharted island of death. You're zombifying from voodoo poison. A mad scientist is on your trail. Originally developed by Digital Pictures and released in 1994, Corpse Killer has been completely rebuilt for the PS4, bringing it to a level of video quality never before seen.
Ooh,
interesting.
Fancy. All right, up next, Fatal 12, PS4 Digital, out 8/8. Oh, this is going to be fun.
I know, I'm so glad you let me go first.
Shishimai Rinka thought her life was over until she woke up and continued her everyday routine as if her fatal accident had never happened. Day by day, her sense of unease grew until a mysterious girl spoke to her in her dreams. A game is about to begin. This is your chance to truly be reborn. Ooh, spooky.
That sounds like, I might be wrong, but that sounds totally like a visual novel.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to look it up because I'm curious now, but that has to be, that's like 100%. That sounds like a visual novel game. I'll report back once I find out. All right.
Okay.
Gravity Ghost Deluxe Edition, PS4 Digital. Surf the night sky, careen through the cosmos, find the fox. When a ghost girl's best friend goes missing, she'll turn the whole universe upside down to find him. Gravity Ghost is a planetary platformer where orbiting is an art form. I like that sentence. In over 100 dizzying levels, put your aerial skills to the test against planets that bounce, break, splash, and more.
Cool. Give me one
That's fine.
second.
While you're looking, I just want you to know that it is a mystery visual novel.
Aha.
I knew it. Called it when I saw it.
You were right. You were right. How about that? All right. Illusion of Lefalcia?
It looks like Lefalca. Yeah. Lefalcia, I think is right. There.
Lefalcia? All right. PS4, PS Vita Digital Cross-Buy. Experience epic 3D battles in a fantasy RPG. Riser and Cougar are in search of the Sword of Amal, an artifact of legend said to grant any wish. Their journey will lead them into fateful encounters with both allies and rivals, only to find a mysterious truth awaiting at the end of their adventure. Ooh.
Interesting. But not. All right. Magic Knights. Magic Knights. Does that sound right? Blood Bagos.
I don't know, from the art, it looks like Machi Knights.
It does, yeah. But it's, up above, it's written as one word.
Yeah, that's weird.
So we'll go with, because I think it's supposed to be...
Machinite? Oh, yeah, like Mechanical Knights.
Machinites. There we go. Okay. That makes more sense, yeah. All right, Machinites. Get ready for an all-new hardcore multiplayer action RPG. Stage by stage, you'll unravel the mystery of ancient technologies. Experiment with the new Machinites equipment to change your gameplay style and stop the evil organization of Kinos from reviving a terrible long lost weapon known as Bagos the Giant, or Bagos.
Ooh, Bagos. All right, up next, Metal Wolf Chaos XD, PS4 Digital. The country is in peril as President Michael Wilson defends the nation against a full-scale rebellion led by Vice President Richard Hawke and the mechanized legions he commands. As the 47th President of the United States, it is your sworn duty to take your country back by any means necessary and end this unjust coup d'etat.
You know what I love about that? That game is older, much older, and it's getting finally getting released over here in the West. It actually released in Japan only when it came out, I think, like 10 or 15 years ago. Okay. What I love, and most people may or may not know this, I don't know if you know this, but it is actually From Software's first game.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Yeah, so...
Cool.
You know, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. A little bit of knowledge for you.
I feel better having had that knowledge bestowed upon me.
Look it up sometime. The gameplay is like, it's very much like, you can tell it's like a PS game. Like it's janky looking, but it's like, I mean, you play as the President of the United States in a mech. You can't get much better than that.
That's pretty awesome.
I know, right? Alrighty. Sagebrush. PS4 Digital. When the members of a cult take their own lives, only you can discover the truth behind the tragedy. Inspired by real-world cults, Sagebrush is a first-person narrative-driven adventure game which thrusts players into the role of a truth seeker who must investigate the tragic circumstances of the Perfect Heaven cult's mass suicide. That's dark.
Oh, well, talk about games that make a comment on the world.
Uh-huh.
That sounds pretty good, actually. I mean, dark, very much so, yeah, but that actually sounds pretty decent. All right, up next we got Tactics V, or probably Roman numeral 5.
Probably.
Tactics 5 Obsidian Brigade. PS4 Digital out 8/9. Tactics 5 Obsidian Brigade is a retro-style, tactical turn-based video game in homage to console tactical RPGs from the 1990s. It's set in a fantasy setting with its own lore and magic, using techniques to convert to a 2D isometric look from 3D assets.
Okay. Interesting. Wonder Boy Returns Remix, PS4 Digital. Wonder Boy was an arcade hit back in 1986. With its intuitive controls and polished game balance, this forever famous side-scrolling action game has been remixed and reborn for the PS4. Join the adventure of a boy who's doing his best to save his girlfriend Tina. Updated with high-def, anime-inspired visuals and more.
Cool.
And what a way to end the week. Take us there.
Oh, yeah. The best one. Save the best for last. Word Sweeper by Pogi. Pogi? I always forget. Alright, PS4, PS Vita digital cross-buy. A crossword puzzle solved using logic and deduction. This new word game draws inspiration from the classic puzzle game Minesweeper and is exclusive to Pogi. Ooh, I like that. Kind of like Minesweeper. That's pretty kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Sweet. Cool.
Before we go today, I just want to give a quick little nod or shout out. People really need to go occasionally onto the demo section of the PSN because there are some games on there that I'm like, oh, you know what? I probably wouldn't buy that, but I'd sure be curious to try it out. And so definitely go check that out every once in a while. Like Wolfenstein Youngblood actually has a timed trial on there. And
what?
Even though everyone talks about it being garbage, you can bet your biffy that I'm going to probably try that time trial this week.
100%.
And then the other shout out, Brawl Out is actually, it's like a knockoff of Smash Bros. And it's got a lot of guest characters like from Guacamelee coming to it.
Nice.
And so that has a free demo as well if you want to check that out if you're, itching to play some Smash Brothers on your PS4. It might not be great, but definitely check it out. And so I just wanted to mention that to people because I did not know that there was a trial for Youngblood. And so that's kind of cool. I don't know how that works, but...
Well, now you know. Yeah. And knowing's half the battle.
That is true.
G.I. Joe!
All right. On that note, we're going to wrap it up. Thank everyone for stopping by. Thanks for joining me today. We had some tech issues, but you won't know that on the back end.
Hopefully not.
And if you do, my bad.
And if you subscribe to Patreon, you'll get a couple extra minutes of us talking about something crazy.
Yep, exactly. Oh, yeah, I will try and leave that in for the Patreon version. All right, kids. Until next time, game on.
Game on. This is the weekly outro music. Rocket Man. Sorry.
I'll take it.
I just saw the PlayStation video thing that Rocket Man's coming out on video.
Nice.
So it was a little Elton John-ish inspired end of week music.